Hi and welcome everyone, this is the Hobo Prepper. I am Friar Tuck. Okay, so I'm gonna try and stay on topic right now because this is like my fourth or fifth recording. Okay, so again, this is the Hobo Prepper. I am Friar Tuck. We are gonna be talking about living on less. I'm gonna kind of, when it comes to SHTF, and I feel like I have to define this, and just when it comes to SHTF, it means shit hits the fan for you. So for you, that might be losing half your wealth, that might be having to defend your property from looters, and with the breakdown of the rule of law, it may be becoming dispossessed. There's all different ways in which you can have your personal SHTF situation. For me, this is boots on the ground for my SHTF situation so that you can learn a little bit from it, okay? And one of the things that I'm going to be talking about is living on less. Because, okay, owning a business, I owned a business for, I closed it in 2021, opened it in 2015. Since 2017, I've been housed up the whole time. So that's what, about 5 years, 6 years that I was housed up. And during that process, especially of owning a business and all these other things, and getting older, because I'm now in my I'm in my early 40s, and for me, just I think as you get older, you kind of get accustomed to certain things because you're used to making a certain amount of money. It's like the older you get, the better your income and the better your lifestyle gets. When you're young, you're just kind of living hand to mouth. But by the time you get older, you should have something going for you. And owning a business kind of gave me that income level to where I had something going for me. And now that I've made the choice to come out here because I saw the writing on the walls, and I lost my business, and I couldn't get back up on my feet because I had other issues I have to deal with. And so, having to come out here, one of the things that I'm learning that is really, really hard to deal with is living on less. Because you're used to, like, I got used to making $3 to $5 grand a month, no problem. And this is back when money was real, not now. Like $3 grand a month now is like about $1,000 like 2 years ago. So I mean, it's much different. So, having that $3 grand a month, my rent was fairly expensive. I could afford it. I could afford to spend $700 a month on eating out at Uber Eats, because I didn't like cooking for myself. And I got used to all these things. And over time, I've had to slowly tighten my belt. And just because of circumstance, and I got tired of spending $700 a month on Uber. I got tired of some of the dumb stuff. I'm like, I have nothing because I'm blowing it on stupid stuff. But when you're busy and all you can think about is doing your business, you don't think about making your own food, and you want to actually have something that's decent, and that's kind of where Uber Eats comes in. And that was my original justification. But as time has gone along, and now that I'm out here, I seem to somehow rummage up between all the different things that I do about $500 a month, just from different avenues. It's not just a tip jar, it's not the affiliate, it's not just the Patreon, it's also work that I do around here, and work that I'm able to rummage up that's like little side hustles. It doesn't give you much to give you a boost, but it gives you enough to be able to sustain. And you've got to learn, and now that I know, okay, I'm making about this much, now I need to figure out a way to cut my budget even more so that I can live off of less. Because the truth is do I even need food stamps? I would only need food stamps when I'm on the road, okay? Otherwise, I would have to pay cash for everything that I want. But then I have to put the burden on other people by going and taking a government benefit. Plus, I also waive certain rights that I'm not so sure I want to waive. Okay, so instead of, because being here static, I should have saved money instead of spent money. And this is something that, like I said, I went from making $3 to $5 grand a month like it was nothing to now I'm lucky to make $500. And you get used to certain things, like, oh, well, I'm used to having a pack of cigarettes every day. Well, guess what? Now it's time to roll. And I can get my smoking habit down to about $20 to $25 a month. I mean, it's not going to be the best stuff. I'm going to be getting pipe tobacco, and I'm going to be using rolling papers. So that means I'm going to be having filterless cigarettes, but I can support myself on $25 a month just for smoking. Okay. But yeah, I still have that same calling of like, okay, I made 10 bucks today, I made 20 bucks today, I want to go buy myself a pack of cigarettes, I want to reward myself. And I think during SHTF, especially if you're going to be nomadic like me, the more money that you can keep in your pocket and just learn to live with less, the better things are going to be. Okay. And I don't know how to fully explain it in a way to where you guys will be able to maybe apply it. But look at it this way. Look at your monthly budget. See if you can cut it by 10% every month for the next 6 months. Okay. If you could cut your budget in half and start taking that money and saving it, and figuring out how to live on less without pulling on society. Because I mean, if you're just going to take your debt and put it on to society, like, oh, I'm going to go to the food bank, or oh, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to collect food stamps, or oh, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to get this benefit, that benefit, get the free Obama phone, things like that. You know, you're going to be, it's just, all you're doing is you're just transferring debt from yourself to the public. And that's counterproductive. And that's part of what's destroying the system to begin with. What it is that you've got to learn to live with less without pulling on the rest of society. Because as society breaks down, there's going to be so many people that are going to be pulling on the charitable resources. Because historically, and I expect this to come back, and this is why I still have just a tad bit of respect for the Christian church, is that historically, the Christian church is the one that's supposed to be taking care of guys like me. They're supposed to be, offering, food and shelter and other things. And, you should be able to camp out on their property. And there are all kinds of different things that were afforded to the homeless. But usually the people that were homeless back then were people that couldn't take care of themselves anyways. And so they did a little bit around the convent or around the church to help out the church. And so the church got free labor by taking care of the poorest of the poor and using whatever resources they could. But now we put that same, instead of the religion of Christianity, you have the religion of government. And so now, instead of the churches being there to take care of the poor and the needy and the indigent, and being able to work within the community, because that was really what they were known for, or what the benefit that they brought to the community, what allowed them to be able to keep roots in the community, was the resources and the logistics that they offered the community. And it seems like that now the government is taking care of that, and everybody wants to either give to charity, which charity, it's a waste of money. So for example, Grace Marketplace, it's a not-for-profit. Okay, but as far as the resources that they offer us, they offer us a good amount of resources, but so much of that money that they're spending is to pay the top half of their corporate structure. And so those guys are making money hand over fist. They're doing fine. And hey, if for some reason the donations go down, those guys aren't going to be the ones that take the hit. It's the ones that they pretend that they're helping. And the truth is that they could take even like a third of their corporate senior management structure. They could take about a third of their salary and make sure to at least get land out there so that we can pitch a tent instead of constantly having to move around. Give us some stability. Give us something like that. But yet they don't do that, because all they want to do is tell the community how much they're doing, because they could take their stats and tell you, oh, they're great and they're wonderful. But at the end of the day, they're not helping anybody. They're just making it look like they're helping somebody. It's like an employee who every time you come around, they look like they're busy, but the second you turn your back, they're in a corner leaning up against it with the broom in their hand. That's kind of what it's like dealing with not-for-profits, at least at this modern age. Back in the day, that was how the original corporate structure was you never started a company. You started what would be a community organization. And then in the 1880s, all of that changed to the corporate structure that we see now. There's a great documentary. It's called The Corporation. It's very popular. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It'll kind of help you understand the morphing of the corporate structure to kind of get us where we are today. But living off of less is important, because again, there's going to be no resources out there for you. And even the churches are struggling because they've been derelict in their duty. They've lost a lot of their connections because they've become creatures of the state. Okay. And so, I mean, this is something that you need to work on as an individual, is to figure out a way to cut your budget and keep cutting it until you learn to live off of just about nothing. You can either produce it yourself or whatever. And then at that point in time, if you want to withdraw from the workforce, if you want to withdraw from the economy, and you just want to be by yourself and set yourself as a freeman, you know what, that will put you in probably one of the best situations that you could ever be in, because at that point in time, you have more options. The less you take from the government, the less dependence you have on the government, the less control that they have over you, the less ability that they have to be able to dictate what you do. Okay, the whole reason why they're able to do what they're doing is because of dependency. And the more dependent you become on government and these stimulus checks and this benefit and that benefit, the more control that they have to get you to do what they want you to do, to indoctrinate you, to sit there and say, okay, well, we're the Democrats and they're going to take away your food stamps and they're going to cut your food stamps off and yada, yada, yada. Okay, this is, and then so everybody who, a lot of these people they're voting against their own interests. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of conservatives out here, okay? A lot of conservatives. And you know, Puckett's one of them. And, you know, the thing is on one hand, you know, he's being forced to vote Democrat in order for his own survival because of the way that they indoctrinate the public, and he believes one way or the other. But on the other hand, you know, at least for president, he's going to vote conservative. So it is what it is. One last thing before I close this off. One of the things that you guys asked that I was giving an answer to on the live stream last night is you were asking about camp security. Something that I left out is one of the things is you don't bring people back to your camp. Like, I have a guy that I can interact with, but because he kind of gives me a bad vibe, he doesn't know where I'm at. You gotta make sure that the only people that you bring back to your camp are people that you trust, because the thing is everybody out here respects property rights in the sense that nobody's going to really go through your camp, not unless they're really desperate or, you know, because to be a thief out here is about as bad as being a child molester. Okay. It's not a pretty, title to have. And you know, the people that steal shit are usually the junkies that have gone off the deep end. Okay. So, as far as camp security, I keep my stuff under a tarp. I make sure to kind of hide it in the bushes as best as possible. And I don't bring a lot of people back to my camp. I vet them. I get to know them for a while. Now, Puckett, on the other hand, but he's been here longer than I have. He brings other people back. And sometimes it makes me a little uncomfortable, but I trust him to know that he's not going to bring somebody back that's going to come and rob the camp. At least that's what I'm hoping for. You know, but sometimes we make a poor judge in character, and you know, I've invited somebody like that myself into camp, not realizing it. So it's very easy, and I have had stuff stolen, but the important stuff hasn't been stolen. Like, I had my solar power charger stolen. I've had a couple of charge cords stolen. You know, I'm missing some tiny little knickknacks, nothing of actual importance. Okay, so it's not like I'm completely going around unscathed, but a lot of this is I also don't advertise my stuff. Okay, so hey guys, if you want to have access to the live stream after today, you're gonna have to subscribe to Patreon for the $10 a month live stream. You get the replays. It will be unlisted and only being able to be seen on Patreon. You can like, subscribe, share. You can also leave something down in the tip jar. And Paranoid, I want to let you know that I did get your email and I have responded. I finally figured out how to get to the junk box, because you got to realize I'm only on a phone. It's not like, I mean, I can get access to a computer, but it's a pain in the ass. So I have to do everything that I do is done from a phone. And lastly, guys, let's see, like, subscribe, share, Patreon, tip jar. Oh, and the affiliate links to the gear down below. It's all the gear that I use, and I still haven't gone through and deleted some of the gear that I don't use. And of course, you know, you can also leave a comment. You know, there's plenty of ways to help out the channel, and you should know by now if you've been watching me for a while. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of this community.